What's up, guys? Welcome back to HRT. This week we have a new guest, my good old pal Luke. Everybody say hi, Luke.
Yo, what's up, guys?
Luke, where are you from? Because I actually don't remember.
Yeah, so I live in New Hampshire.
Right, you live just like a state over. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
Do you like it in New Hampshire? Is New Hampshire a safe place for trans people?
I don't know if I'd say it's a safe spot. I mean, it's okay. I mean, I'm pretty stealth here. Like, a lot of people aren't able to realize or notice or anything, so I don't talk to too many people up here. I also don't work up here, so I don't really have to react with that many people. But you will see, like, a bunch of, like, Trump signs throughout the whole place. So, like, that's kind of the vibe.
Got you. Is New Hampshire, like, is it blue? Is it red? Do you know?
It's red, but it's one of, like, the more, like, blue or red states, if that makes any sense.
Got you.
It's a little bit more of a liberal place for a red place.
Got you. Yeah. You're on testosterone, right, Luke?
Yes.
Nice. When did you start tea?
I started tea January 25th, 2021. So it's about
He knows
like
the
2.5
dates.
Yeah,
Nice.
so it's 3 days after my birthday. So it's like
I started.
a little nice birthday gift to myself.
Dude, that's crazy. I started tea 3 days before my birthday.
Yo, let's go, dude. We're in sync.
We are in sync. Look at that. Do you do sub-Q or intramuscular?
I do sub-Q.
Damn it, Luke. I can't find one intramuscular motherfucker.
Nope.
What is that about? Damn.
I don't know.
Why?
Man.
Do you like sub-Q? Do you like taking a shot?
Yeah. Well, I like the fact that I don't like the fact that I have to do it, but like I prefer taking shots like as opposed to any other method.
Gotcha. Yeah, because there's gel and there's like the pellets things that Bear was talking about last episode.
Yeah.
I didn't even know those exist. Didn't even know.
I didn't find out till like a month ago.
Yeah, I felt like I couldn't do the gel because they pushed. I said in the last episode, they pushed me to do the gel. They didn't want me to do the fucking intramuscular shit, which was rude.
Which is wild. Yeah.
But you think that you like taking a shot? Do you notice like a change in your mood when you take your shot?
Not really. I have noticed like occasionally sometimes I'll get like hungrier like the day of, but aside from that, I haven't noticed anything like too bad.
Ooh, hungrier. That's a new one. I like that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's cool. So you take it weekly?
Yes, I take it every Monday.
Every Monday shot day. What's your dose?
30 milligrams. I think that's what it is. 30 milliliters.
Wow. Still, I gotta really look up how it measures out from milligrams to like whatever the hell sub-Q is. I still don't get it.
Yeah.
Every episode I say that.
I was gonna look it up too because I heard you guys talking about that and I forgot.
I literally don't get it like at all. It's really bad. So you like taking a shot, but it feels like a chore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It does give me anxiety before I take it though. Sometimes, most of the time actually.
Yeah, me every fucking 2 weeks, dude. I hate it. Is it like the needle that gives you anxiety?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like, man, like I gotta stab myself now. It's just like I don't like the idea of it, but
do you have like a little routine, or do you do it like at the same time every Monday, or what?
No, so well, generally I pretty much do it after I shower, like every single time.
Me too.
I don't have like a specific time of day. Usually I shower in the morning, but sometimes I push later.
Yeah, I shower at night, so usually I take my shot at night. Dude, it's Saturday. My shot day was Tuesday, and I didn't take it yet. So I am really bad with it. But, like, I don't notice a change in my mood. Like, I'm fine. I am slaying. I am 5 days late on my shot. Yeah, I have a reminder in my phone that goes off every other Tuesday. It says shot day. And if that reminder gets, like, cleared, I completely forget that I'm even on testosterone.
And I don't clear mine until I do it. Because I have a shot, I have a reminder on my phone too, but I can't. I just don't clear it until.
I don't either. But for some reason, because like, okay, this is a little off topic, but like I have other reminders in my phone, and if like the shot day one is there, and then I get another one to like take out the garbage or something, the shot one disappears, and then it's like, well, what the hell?
That's stupid.
It's a real struggle in my life. I need to organize my shot day a little bit more. If you can't tell. Did you get top surgery?
I did. I got top surgery December 10th of 2021.
Wow. So you started testosterone in 2021, right? Did you say?
Same
so
year.
You did it in the same year. Wow. Sick. 2021, that was, what year are we in? 23? That was 2 years ago. Did you get double incision?
Yes, I got double incision. I didn't even know keyhole was an option.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't either, to be honest. A lot of surgeons told me that it was not real and that I shouldn't get it, and I searched and searched until I found a surgeon that would give it to me. But here we are. So you got double incision, you get drains? Drains.
Yeah, I had drains.
Nice. Did that experience with drains go well? Because I know a lot of trans guys who the drains freaked them out and they hated it.
I didn't like them. They were pretty bad. It felt like ropes in your chest. I guess that's like the best comparison. Yeah. I saw that somewhere and I was like, oh yeah, that's exactly what it feels like. It's like it feels like ropes like inside your chest that just stay there and they just like tug. It's not fun.
That's terrible news.
I had one, this is kind of gross, trigger warning, but I had one drain that like wasn't draining. So I had this thing called the seroma, and it's basically like a pocket of fluid that like builds up in your chest. So my chest was like a balloon. Like I could pick it and it would like move. It was jiggly. It was disgusting. Ooh. So I had to go back to the hospital twice because I had a seroma that just fucking blew up on my right side.
I've heard that happening. That happens to a lot of trans guys. That's like a common thing, right?
Yeah.
With drains, is it because the drains, or is it just something that happens after double incision?
It's just something that happens after because, like, so you're supposed to like bind your chest after, right? So I was like binding my chest after, and they were like, "Are you binding it the right way?" I was like, "Yeah, no, I'm doing this shit like tight as fuck. I promise." Like,
I can't breathe.
I don't know why.
No, dead ass.
So maybe it has something to do with like, I don't know, like this. I think it has to do with like the space between your chest cavity and like your bones or whatever. And like if it's not binded well enough or something, just like blows up. Something along those lines.
Well, that's annoying. I remember binding my chest hella hard after surgery. I'd wear like a really tight compression shirt that was made for like 3-year-olds. And then I like used like it kind of looked like a big ace bandage, like just wrapped around my chest like 4 times. It's terrible. Did they tell you that when because I'm guessing obviously you had to see your chest for the first time when you took off all the binding and stuff. Did they tell you that you had to like sit down when you took all that off for the first time or no?
No.
Because they didn't tell me that either, and I was fully standing up in the mirror being like ready to see my chest. And fully was looking in the mirror, took it off, and I was like, I'm feeling a little faint. And I fully fainted and fully barfed. It was terrible.
That's awful.
I guess because all the compression's coming off of you at once, all that like weight or some shit that you have to be sitting down. What kind of fucking surgeon doesn't tell you that? Whack. Where did you go for your top surgery?
I went to Beth Israel in Boston.
Ooh, Boston. So you had to travel for that a little bit?
Yeah, it was about an hour or so.
Okay, not bad.
Yeah.
How was the car ride back? Because for me, I hit like every pothole and I thought I was going to die.
I was like nauseous as fuck on the car ride home. I remember my buddy picked me up, my best friend actually. He picked me up and he brought me back to his house. And I remember just like sitting on his bed being like, bro, I think I'm gonna puke. And he was like, nah, dude. And I was like, I'm gonna puke. And I got up and I went to his bathroom and I just fucking vomited.
Wait, so you didn't even go home after your surgery?
No, so okay. So when I got top surgery, I was living at my old roommate's house, and I didn't have like an actual room there. Like I was legit living in a storage closet. So I slept on a beanbag, and it was after surgery. And I was like, I'm not sleeping on a fucking beanbag for the next 2 weeks to a month. So
Dude, that would be awful.
yeah, so I was like, I'm not doing that shit. So I ended up staying with my sister for a little while, and then I went to my ex-girlfriend's house after that.
Nice. Right after your surgery, you went to your friend's house, and did he keep you there for like a week, or did you like go? Where did you go from there?
So I went to my best friend. I went to my best friend's house, and then I went to my sister's picked me up, and then I went to her house for like 2 weeks, and then after that, I was able to like drive again. I technically wasn't supposed to, but I did anyways.
Yeah,
I drove to my ex-girlfriend's house, and then I just didn't drive again after that.
Did you? I'm sorry. I need to get this right. Did you? Right after your surgery, you went to your friend's house, and then did you sleep the night there, and then your sister came to get you,
no.
or did you?
I went to my friend's house for like maybe 2 hours.
What?
I don't even remember why. Like,
just to pop over and hang out, like right after you got a pretty like intense surgery.
Yeah,
that's so funny, bro. I'm sorry, Wise. That's so funny. Cause like after my surgery, bro, I have like 25 steps up like to get to my front door, and I had to be carried up. I could not walk upstairs, and then like I had to be plopped into my own bed and like had to be fed soup. Like, how were you just like at your friend's house chilling?
I was like dead. I was like, yo, what's up, dude? Like mad tired. And not to mention also too, so I was leaving the hospital and the lady was like, do you need help like getting to the car? I was like, nah, I'm good. And I walked over to the car and almost like ate shit on the ground. The nurse came like running back over. She's like, are you sure you're okay? And then she just helped me in the car.
I'm getting the vibes. Dude, yeah, I'm getting the vibes that you're a very just like chill back, I don't care, I don't need no help kind of person. And
yeah.
That's so funny though. Wow. You're definitely just like, fuck everyone, I'm chilling. I don't need no help.
Yeah.
So I want to go back a little bit here and ask you when you came out as trans.
Yeah, so I came out when I was like 12. I was almost 13, but yeah, right around then.
But, like, came out, like, is that when you just knew yourself you were trans, or you started telling people at like 12, 13?
That was when I started telling people, because I first told my friends, and then I went and told my family.
At 12 years old?
Mm-hmm.
So you were in what, middle school?
Yeah, I think I was in 7th grade.
What the hell, bro? That's wild. And okay, so before that, how long did you know you were trans before you told anybody?
Probably about a year or so, I'd say. I think I really started to figure things out when I was like 11. I always knew that I was kind of like off, like as a kid. And like the things that I would do, I just knew were not normal. Like I remember like going online and like posing as a guy and always pretending to be a guy, and I felt like so much more comfortable like being that way, and I was like, that's not normal.
Wow, that's like crazy, because I feel like, how did you even know at such a young age like what being trans even was? Because I feel like I didn't know what being trans was until I was like 16.
Yeah, I did a fuck ton of research when I was a kid. So like I just like went down the rabbit hole and was just like researching stuff. Then I started watching YouTube videos like most trans guys do. I started watching like Sam Collins. I watched like Alex Birdie, No Offense. I started watching Jamie Dodger, Samantha Lux. I started watching a bunch of people, and I was like, oh, okay, this is starting to click.
Were you just like hella self-aware from a young age? Like,
I guess so.
That's crazy. I can't imagine like being 12 and being like, and like figuring out who I am. It took me way too long, I guess. I just
No,
don't
I
think
mean,
I'm
like,
that self-aware.
as a kid, I just had like a lot of alone time pretty much because my family was like, even though I had like a big family, my family was like never around. So I had like a bunch of time to myself to like figure shit out. So I think it was back then when I was like really able to figure shit out on my own.
Bittersweet, because like you had the time to figure out who you were, but I guess it probably gets pretty lonely.
Yeah.
Did your family like? How was your family when you came out as trans?
They were crazy. They did not like that. They were like, "You're gonna go to hell. You're gonna burn in hell for that. You're just a tomboy."
Oh
And my mom said,
no!
like, she was like, "Nothing you've ever done in your life has shown me that you're a trans." And like, just thinking back to my childhood, I'm just like, how? Like, what do you mean? Like, it was so.
When they were literally calling you a tomboy, like that's literally a signal. I don't know if y'all know. That's kind of a dead giveaway.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so they fully didn't support you or anything. Did anybody in your family support you?
My sister, so I have two sisters. My oldest sister was like okay with it. So she was the first person in my family I actually came out to before I like told my mom and my sister and my dad. So I told my oldest sister first, and she was like, your mom and dad are not gonna like this, so I wouldn't tell them if I were you. And then, like, as a kid, like, you want your family to love you and accept you no matter what. So I was kind of like in that mindset. I was like, well, I didn't really know what my family thought of trans people because they never talked about it. Like,
Right.
I know that they didn't like gay people. So I knew that, like, being a part of the LGBT community, that it would be at
Right.
least probably some sort of negative reaction. And my sister told me that. And I was like, I don't know if I really want to tell them now. And so, like, I thought about it and I waited a lot of time. And I just didn't for a while because I didn't want to be like shamed.
Right.
And
Yeah.
so like one day my mom came into my room and I had like this pink binder. Not like an actual binder like that you think of, but like a binder with like for school. And I had a picture in there of like two guys kissing that I drew as a kid. And my mom came in the room and she was like, "What is that? That's disgusting." And I was like,
No.
it's just two dudes kissing. Like, what do you mean?
Get over it,
like,
Mom.
That's gross. She's like, "That's gross. Why is that there? Why would you draw something like that?" And I was like, "Actually, Mom, I have something to tell you. I'm trans." And then that's where it just fucking went to shit.
So it sounds like you have a very religious family.
Yes, they were very religious. Baptist Christians.
Baptist Christians. Wow. So, wow. At 12, you were like, "Mom, I'm a dude." And she was like, "You're going to hell."
Yep.
That's wild, bro. And now, I'm guessing you said before that you were living in a storage closet?
Yes, I lived there for about like a year and a half or so, I'd say.
And I'm guessing, is this because your family was unsupportive?
Yeah, so basically I graduated high school and then a couple months later I was like they were trying to force me to go to college initially and I didn't want to go to school at the time because I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life and I wasn't about to sign off to a bunch of loans and get myself in debt for something I didn't want to do forever. So
Period.
I was and I also didn't have any of my documents changed or anything at the time too. So I just wanted to transition was really my main goal at that point in my life.
Wow.
And I knew that they weren't going to accept it. So I made an escape plan with my buddy and I was like, "Hey man, like, would your dad be comfortable? Like, would you guys be okay if I moved in your place? Like, I can pay rent. Like, I don't care. I just need to get out of the place that I'm at now, just to transition and be more comfortable." And
Got you.
Nico and his dad are super cool. So they were like, "Yeah, of course. Like, no worries, man." I was like, "Awesome." So we made a date for me to move in. So we set that date, and like the day before I was gonna move in, I gave my parents literally like no chance, but I knew they weren't gonna believe me anyway. But the day before I was gonna move in, I was like, Dad, I'm trans, and I'm going to continue to transition and I want to start my medical transition. So if you don't want me to do that under your roof, I won't. I'll move out. But I just want to give you like that option because I don't want to just blindside you and just fucking completely leave. But
Right.
if you're comfortable with it, I'll stay here and transition. Otherwise, I'm going to move out and I'm going to find another place where people will let me transition and be who I am.
Hell yeah. And you were 18 at this point, right?
Yeah.
Nice.
And my dad was like, well, like, let's look into this. Like, let me look it up. I don't know about this. And I was like, Dad, I've been doing research for years. Like, I told you guys that I was trans a while. He tried to gaslight me too. He's like, you never told me you were trans. I was like, what do you mean? Like, why do you think all my friends call me Luke? Like, what are you talking about?
Dude, no, they'll pull every card out on you to stop you.
They really will. So I was like, okay. He was like, let me do research. And I was like, okay, dude, whatever. And he was like, but I don't think you should talk to your mom about this. And I was like, well, I'm going to. So after I had a conversation with him, I went upstairs and I was like, Mom, I'm going to start my medical transition, whether you like it or not. If you don't want me to stay under this roof at that time, then that's fine. I'll leave. But I'm putting this in your hands. And she was like, you're giving me ultimatums and I don't like that. And I was like, okay, well, I'm going to transition. So
Well, yeah. Well, I'm 18 now, so yeah. It's your life. You can live it however you want, especially when you turn 18.
Yeah. And I was like, well, I guess I'm just going to transition then, and I'm going to leave because I'm going to take that as a no. So I was like, all right, whatever. And then the next day comes around and my friend and his dad are on the way over. I have everything packed. So I start loading all my shit out into the car.
Mm-hmm.
My sister comes out of her room, not my younger sister, but not the older one, but the one in the middle.
Got you.
So my sister comes over and she's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, I'm leaving, LOL. And so I continued packing all my shit. And of course, the snitch that she is goes to run and tell my dad. And she's like, he's leaving.
Oh,
like,
no.
yeah, I am leaving. And then my dad, like, is like, why are you leaving? I said we could look into this. And I was like, yeah, but like your wife doesn't want me here. Like, and it's obvious. So I'm not going to stay. Like, there's no point. Mm-hmm. He was like, no, don't leave. Don't go. And I just continued packing all my shit. And he got like really sad. Like that was the first time I'd ever seen my dad like cry, but he was crying then. And I was like, what the fuck? This is wild. But I still continued to pack all my shit. And then my sister had to go to like work at the time. And so she was getting ready to go into the car, and then my mom came over and she started like yelling at me. And she was like, oh, like, you think I don't love you? You think I don't care about you? And I was like, yeah. And she was like, I gave birth to you. And I was like, that doesn't mean anything. She's like, I put a roof over your head. And I was like, yeah, you know, like the bare minimum what you're supposed to do as a parent. Like,
yep.
What?
Yep.
And then I remember one of the last things that she said to me was, don't cry at my funeral. I was like,
oh my God. So you don't speak to your family at all anymore, besides your sister, I guess?
I do now a little bit, but not that much. So that was one of the last things she said to me before I left, and I didn't talk to her for like months after I left. And then my dad, every time, because my dad has always been the one who's been a little bit more supportive and like has tried to like get me to talk to her. So he just like kept forcing it. And so finally I like decided to talk to her a little bit, but I don't really talk to her that much. Because like whenever I go over, they try to make like a point to like never say like my name or use my pronouns. So I'm just like, I don't really go over. I go over like a couple times a year, but that's about it. I never text them or anything.
I lost you for just a smidge there. So you only see them a couple times a year, and when you do go, they try not to even like acknowledge that you're a man.
Yeah, like my dad's a little bit better. Like he'll occasionally say like Luke and sometimes and stuff like that, but like he'll be weird about it. He'll be like my people, my people. He'll always say like my people. So it's like Bro, I know you're covering up.
Yeah, yeah. It's surprising that your dad is the more supportive one. I feel like dads are usually the ones who are more like, get out of my house, where the moms are like, no, please stay, you know?
Right. Yeah, I feel like that's the typical family dynamic, but like my dad's been always a lot more cool than my mom. So
do you talk to one of them more than the other? Like, do you talk to your dad more now, or do you?
I talk to my dad a little bit more than my mom, but I don't really talk to him that much either. He'll occasionally like text me and he'll be like, "Hey, like what's going on, kid?" And I'll be like, "Not much." And that's about it.
Wow. So you graduated high school and turned 18 and immediately was like, I'm doing this, whether you like it or not. You moved out and you didn't speak to your family for a couple months. And then you moved into your friend's house, you said, Nico, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I want to ask, you said you were living in their storage closet. Yeah. That's wild, first of all. How much room did you have?
Not that much room. Like I could not even fit a bed in there. Like it was literally just like a small 6-foot bean bag, and I was like directly next to like a washer and a dryer, and that was all that was in my room. A boiler. And that was all that was in my room. Yeah.
Wow. Dude, was your back and neck like killing you every night from sleeping on a beanbag?
Yeah, it wasn't the best. I had like an okay pillow, but it was like super hot in there, so I was always like tossing and turning, and the beanbag, of course, was like unsupportive as fuck. So.
Oh my god! And can I ask, were you? Because this was before top surgery, right?
Yes.
Were you binding at this time?
I did, but I had to stop. So I had a pretty small chest anyway, but I still use like a binder, like occasionally, like if I went to work or if like I was seeing like a girl or something, like I would wear it. But like this is also kind of gross. But when I would wear the binder, like my chest would like it started to like ooze.
Your chest?
Yeah. It was like oozing. It was disgusting. I didn't know what the fuck the problem was. I went to the doctors. They were like, I don't fucking know. So I just like stopped binding, and when I stopped binding, the problem went away. So I was like, yeah, I'm just not gonna bind.
I've never heard that before. Wow. How long did you bind for before that happened?
It was really infrequently because I had a small chest, but I think at the time when I was like frequently binding, it probably was like every day at that point.
Wow.
For like, I want to say maybe like 6 months or so.
And then your chest started oozing.
Yeah.
Damn. Well, I guess like, was it a huge deal when you had to stop? Because like you said, you had a small chest. So did you just wear like big t-shirts? That's what I did.
Yeah, it wasn't a huge deal. It was kind of annoying though, but I had a smaller chest, so it wasn't as much of a problem.
Right. I was asking because I was thinking about you sleeping on a beanbag every night, and also like that hurts your back. And I was like, was he also binding during this? Like, I would be as stiff as a fucking rock. Like,
yeah,
that's wild, bro. Jeez. And can I ask, did your parents know where you were staying during this, or did you not tell them?
Yeah, they knew where I was staying.
They knew you were. Did they know you were sleeping in a boiler room, basically?
No.
Gotcha.
I told them I was sleeping on the couch.
Gotcha. Do you think if you told them you were sleeping in a small little closet, they'd like force you to come home?
I don't think they'd force me to come home, but I think they'd probably like find some sort of way to like fuck me over.
Wow. So I can't believe that. That takes balls to, at 18 years old, to up and leave your family home and be like, I'm out. Y'all don't support me. I'm out. Good on you, dude. That's wild. And how long did you stay at your friend's house for?
I stayed there for about 1.5 years. I left last year, I think.
Oh, wow.
I think I left last April.
Got you.
Yeah, I left last April.
And I'm guessing you were working the whole time you were living there?
Yeah.
Saving up money.
Mm-hmm.
Nice. That's the way to do it, man. If you have an unsupportive family at home, like that would be my tip. Get out,
100%.
leave, stay with a friend, and save up money.
Mm-hmm.
That's absolutely wild. Now, when you were going to school before you moved in with your friend, what was school like for you? Because I'm guessing, you had a very religious family at home. Did that carry over into school in any way?
So in middle school, it wasn't too bad. So middle school, I was in like a regular like public school. So I had told my friends at the time, and they were all super supportive. Like nobody really gave me any issues in my middle school. That was a public school,
Mm-hmm.
and everyone was like, at least my friends. I don't know if anyone was like bullying me behind my back or anything, but like to my face, all my friends were super nice to me. So it was fine, really. It was only until high school when things like really started to change for me. So I went to 4 different high schools. The first one
Four
that I
different
went
high
to,
schools. God,
yep.
bro. That's wild.
The first one that I went to was the more public school of the same town that I lived in, and it was fine. Year after that, I ended up moving to a different town, so I had to go to a different school. That school sucked. Dude, I remember. So I was just trying to rip the Band-Aid off in all my classes. So whenever I was in the class, I told them that I went by Luke.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't explain why. Didn't need to. It's probably easy for the kids to figure out, but I just said that I went by Luke. And there was this one class, it was history class, and it was that new school. So essentially, the way that the school worked, at least in that like classroom, they had us paired up with the person that we were sitting next to, and we all had like assigned seating. And within the assigned seating, the person next to you had to introduce you to the class. And so I was sitting next to this girl, and I was like, "Hey, dead name. This is my dead name, but I go by Luke." And she's like, "Oh, okay." And then we went to lunch, and we came back from lunch, and then it was our turn to like present each other. And I presented like the girl that was sitting next to me, and then she presented me, but she said my dead name and didn't say my new name at all. And I was just like, my fucking heart sank to the bottom of my ass, dude. I was just sitting there like, wow.
How old were you? Was this high school?
Yeah, this was high school. I
Oh
was
my God.
sophomore, so I was probably like 15 or 16.
You were going by Luke, and I'm guessing you were dressing as male and whatnot.
Yeah,
That's fucked up.
it was.
Transphobic little bitch. God damn.
Dude, right after that, I was like, yeah, I'm not fucking staying at this school. Hell
Fuck
no.
that.
Yeah. And so I complained to my parents, and I was like, please take me out of this fucking school. Like, it's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And then they ended up putting me in online school for the rest of that year. And
Okay.
that also sucked, but it wasn't as bad as that's other schools. So it was whatever.
Dude, Jesus.
Yeah.
So 4 different high schools. You said you liked online schooling a little bit more?
Yeah, so it was a little bit better than the previous school that I went to, but it still sucked. And since I still didn't like online school, they were like, okay, so junior year, we'll put you in like a private school or whatever. No, that was a bad idea. I don't know why. No. So I got put in a private school, and it was also a Christian school. And that was just...
How could that be better?
It wasn't.
Who thought that was a good idea? Did you, because you were trans then, right? You were still trans, and going to a Christian school. Did that were you good? Were you okay?
No, so that changed the dynamic. So I was like, I got to that school and I was like, shit, like, I don't know if I should come out. If I come out, I feel like I'm not going to make any friends. Like, I don't know what to do. So then at that school, I went there and I didn't come out initially. So the first week or so, I was sitting with this group of kids. And I was kind of bored of that friend group, but it was whatever. And
bored. So... He said y'all are lame.
So when I was a kid, like I always fell into that stupid stereotype, like I wanted to be one of the cool kids or whatever, like a lot of kids do. Stupid. Looking back, shouldn't have been like that. But as a kid, I was like, damn, like these kids are lame. So, like one day, this girl comes up to me, and she was like on vacation or whatever, so she missed like the first week of school. So the second week, she comes up to me and she's like, hey, like you're awesome, like you should hang out. You should hang out at my table. We should all talk, whatever. She's like, why are you so quiet? Why are you so shy? And I was like, oh, I don't know. I'm just shy, dude. I can't control it.
Can you blame me? Jesus Christ.
No, literally. And I was like, yeah, I don't know. I'm just shy. And she was always trying to get me to come out of my shell. Mm-hmm. And then eventually she was like, yeah, you can come sit at my lunch table. I was like, okay, cool. And so I was there, and then like a little while after, like sometime throughout that week, we were in class, and she was like, hey, what's your Snapchat? And my Snapchat at the time was like my actual name. So I was like, oh, fuck. And I was like, I wrote it down for her, and I was like, but I can explain that to you later. And she just like looked at me and like was making a face. She was like, why? And I was like, I will tell you later. And so I ended up telling her eventually, and it's actually kind of fucked up looking back now. But so I ended up telling her, I was like, yeah, I go by Luke because I'm trans. But I don't really want a lot of people at the school to know because I'm afraid that they won't accept me. So please don't tell anyone.
Right.
And she was like, okay, for like the first day. But then after that, she just kept like trying to push me to tell people that I was trans. And she was like, I don't feel comfortable with being the only person who knows this. So can you just tell everyone?
Are you for real?
And I was like so afraid, obviously, because that's like a fucking dangerous thing to do, like pushing someone to come out of the closet in a place that's like could be potentially dangerous for them. So I was like, I really don't feel comfortable. Like I don't want to. And she's like, well, I don't want to be the only person who knows. I don't want to be the only person who knows. Just pretty much like pressuring me to do it. And at the time, I didn't know what to do. Like, I wanted to have friends. Like, I just wanted to have a normal high school experience. So I was like, whatever. I guess, like, if this will make this girl stop, like, I'll tell them. So I told my friends that I sat with at the table in, like, a group chat, because we all had a group chat. So I just told them in the group chat. Not even everyone responded to that message. Only some of them did. Most of them were like, oh, it's okay. We accept you. But then they never changed my name. They never changed my pronouns. Or
my dad did that. I don't think my name is even correct in my father's phone to this day, and I've been out for fucking 7 years now. Yeah, I did. And the Snapchat thing, just to say, because you were talking about Snapchat before, I wanted to say real quick that I think all trans guys around the world struggled so. I remember fucking emailing Snapchat headquarters being like, please let me change my fucking username. It's my dead name. I'm trans. If you don't do this for me, you're fucking transphobic. They left me on red. So
of course.
And then I remember the day Snapchat finally let you change your fucking username. It was the best day of my life. Oh. Anyways, back to your story. So they were like fake as fuck. Yeah,
they kind of were. But I just had to deal with it for the rest of school. It kind of sucked, but I remember that girl too. That same week, she was like, "So, do you still believe in God if you're trans?" And I didn't want to lose friends, so I was like, "Yeah, of course." No.
Oh my god! Right, because you were at a private school, Catholic school, Christian school.
Yeah, and the school was so small, dude. The school had like, I want to say 100 kids in it, so everyone knew everyone. Yeah.
Oh, that's terrifying.
Like my actual class itself only had like 40 people in it.
Wow. Imagine trying to like fit in, being like, people asking you, do you believe in God or not? And you feeling pressured to say yes, in order to fit in. Oh, that's terrifying. Oh, dude, I can't imagine that.
I guess I said the right answer too, because I was like, yeah, and she was like, okay, good. I was worried.
Phew. That's so stupid. Oh my god, that's whack as hell. Did you have to wear uniforms or anything?
Yeah, we did.
Did you get to wear a male uniform?
Yeah, so luckily the uniforms were pretty chill. It was basically like a polo and pants. You could do like a polo and a skirt, or I think they had dresses too. But
And it sounds like you
fucking wear that shit.
I didn't fucking wear that shit. It sounds like you passed pretty well pre-T though, because nobody knew, right? Unless you told them. Wow, good for you. That's fun. That's probably bittersweet, but it's one of the better things of changing schools is that nobody knows you, so you can pass better, I guess. Because when I came out as trans, everyone in my school already fucking knew who I was prior to. There's no hiding it. But so you were just surrounded by fucking religious people throughout your entire childhood.
Yeah.
Wow. Now, can I ask you, growing up, were you yourself religious, like throughout your transition?
So no, not really. So when I was a kid, I was religious because that's how I grew up. So I like gravitated to that. And I went to Sunday school and I went to church every Sunday. Like my family wanted me to, but like I kind of just like started thinking about it myself, and I was like, this kind of doesn't really make sense. And so I kind of just stopped believing in it. I couldn't admit that to my family, or else they'd ostracize me even more, be pissed at me. So I kind of just kept that to myself. I did like come home one time with like a Buddha necklace on. My mom was mad, but
my mom was mad. Oh, dude. See, that's wild because I mean, like, my experiences with religion and stuff relating to being trans is like nothing compared to that. I couldn't imagine that. Like, I came out and to my mom as trans, and I think the only thing that had to do with religion was like my mom was kind of just like, God made you the way you were for a reason, or God loves you the way you are. And I was like, God would want me to be happy, okay?
Yeah.
And that's kind of the only like. And then I have this aunt who I only ever see during Christmas time. And she, again, this is not even close to what you had to go through, but I remember I cried because we were in my kitchen and it was like all of my extended family in my kitchen, and I was like freshly trans and going by Cody and he and pronouns, and my mom had finally come around to it. My sister, everyone in my immediate family was supporting me and calling me Cody, and this was kind of my introduction to my extended family being like, hi, I'm Cody, this is me now. And my aunt, oop, cut that out. Future Max, cut that name out. My aunt, who is a God freak, who is really religious, stood in my kitchen in front of everyone and was like, God wants you to be how you were born. Like, you need to stay how you are. You need to keep being a girl, and you're going to rot in hell if you do anything other than that, in front of my entire family. And I was like, why'd you say that? And then I ran outside and cried. So and then I don't see her like ever, except for on Christmas, where I just ignore her. But
so does she use the right pronouns now?
Not the right pronouns, I don't think. She calls me Cody because she sees everybody else doing it, and I think that's the thing when people see everybody else calling you Cody and calling me Cody, calling you by the right name and the right pronouns, they feel like the one who's outcasted. They don't want to be the one who looks stupid, so they'll just blindly follow everybody else. So she'll call me by my name, but like you said, I think she'll try and stay away from pronouns and just be like, that kid over there. Instead of like,
make it so weird.
I know. It's like you're the one pointing it out. Nobody else is uncomfortable but you.
Yeah.
I'll never get it. But dude, I can't imagine like being surrounded by that much religion from a young age, and then coming out on the other side and like being where you are today, because you've gotten top surgery, you're on testosterone, like you're doing it, and you're doing it by yourself. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Nobody had to really help you get you there, it seems like. And it
was tough.
I bet it was. Well, what do you think was the hardest part for you?
The hardest part was definitely like feeling alone like the whole time, because like I had my friends, they were great, of course, but like the one like group of people that are supposed to love you like unconditionally no matter what, just like as a kid, that just took a huge toll on me. Like I was very depressed as a kid, because I was just like, the few people that are supposed to love me and accept me for who I am don't accept me, and it was awful. And so as a kid, like I kind of had to figure out like, hey, like get myself into the mindset like, hey, you're gonna have to do this alone, and you're gonna have to figure this out. But you know, I didn't want to be that statistic, you know, so I was like, I gotta do this. So.
Right. Yeah, no, you're right. And I think it makes you mature at a very young age. And like, again, my family ended up being supportive later down the line, but I think for a little while even I had that mindset of like, fuck it, like if nobody's gonna be behind me, I have to become my own best friend and do whatever possible. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I think it goes to show, and it goes into our first topic a little bit, of religion versus trans people in general. I think it goes to show that religion and God itself, typically, what people will tell you is it's supposed to be this love and like warm welcoming thing, where like you're supposed to be accepted and loved no matter what, and God loves all. But in my humble opinion, I think that religion is an excuse to hate people and to spread hate, where God is supposed to be all loving. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because like for me, I don't know where I stand on religion. I don't think that I am a certain religion. I think that I believe in a God. I feel like a lot of things have happened in my life where I'm like, because I find myself like, I'm one of those people who are like, I don't know if I believe in God, and then something really bad is happening, and I'm like, please God help me. Like, I'll find myself praying, and I'm like, this feels like wrong. Maybe I should say that I believe in God. So I think I believe in God, but I just don't believe in religion, if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
We're like, I don't know. I feel like, why? Again, this is just my opinion, but why would God care about my gender? Like,
yeah.
Like, I feel like the man has so much more on his plate.
Yeah. And like you said, like it's supposed to be like a religion that's like super accepting, and like God loves you no matter what, and God's not judgmental. So like, why are you being judgmental? Like the only person at the end of the day who's supposed to judge you is God or whatever. So it's like, how do you think you have the right to tell me what I should be doing?
Right. And like your relationship with God, I think typically people would say that it's supposed to be a personal relationship. Like I talk to God and on my own personal time. You talk to God in your own personal time. Who says our gods are even the same? Like, what if I'm talking to a completely whole different dude? Like, and it goes to show we know more about trans people than we know about God. Like, there's proof that trans people exist, and there's no valid actual proof that God exists. So like, How about we take the group that exists and is real, and we focus on them and treat them better? I feel like that would just make sense. I don't know. It's just like, because I remember actually when I went to Pride back in June, there was there were people, Jesus freaks, who were protesting, and it was like they weren't like really saying anything. They were just holding up their signs, and watching a bunch of people take pictures with them and make them look like zoo animals. So they were just standing there, and I kind of went up to one of them. I was like, "You do know that like trans people exist, and like your God who's spreading hate does not." And like that alone should be enough for you to be like, something's wrong here. I don't know. Not to say that like whatever, God doesn't exist, but like trans people do. We have more proof of that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Was everybody in your family like religious, or like even like extended family? Like did you just come from a very religious family? Or did you have like
so
one
extended
person?
family was religious too. I didn't see them that much though, so I don't really know too much about like where they stand on those things. But
Gotcha.
like, so my mom, as a kid, like my mom was always kind of religious, but it just got like progressively worse as I got older. So I'm gonna throw this on you, but essentially, so her mom died when I was a kid, and so like right after her mom died, she just like changed into a different person, just went like crazy religious because her mom was very religious. And I think so after her mom died, she became very religious. I don't know if it was maybe as a way to like connect to her or like fill that void or something. I have no idea. But then right after that, she just became way worse than she was before.
Jeez. I mean, like, I get that because, like, I have heard, like, with me, like, I've been through some traumatic things, and in those moments is the moments where I'm talking to God. Like, people in their darkest and grieving moments will find God the most, and I do believe that that's, like, a thing, and that's valid.
Yeah.
But I don't know, to believe in God and love God and have a connection with God is different than spreading hate. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
It's wild too because like the year before, so her mom died on Easter, but the year before that Easter was crazy. So my mom was like an abusive person, mostly emotionally and verbally, but not really physically that much. But the year before the Easter that her mom died, me and my dad had gotten into an argument. And during that argument, he ended up going into like a different room, and my brother came in the room, and I just started venting to my brother about it because I wanted to talk about it. And so my mom heard me talking to my brother, and my dad was like, "What did you just say?" And I was like, "I wasn't talking to you." And my mom was like, "Did you just talk back?" And I was like, "Oh God." And she was like, "You can't talk back to him." And I was like, "Okay, my bad." And then my brother ended up leaving in the room. My mom ended up like trying to fight with me. And I knew it was going to end bad. I knew she was going to try and ground me. So I closed and locked the door, and I hid like all my electronics away so that way she couldn't get them. But she just started yelling, and I was like banging on the door and shit. And I was like, I'm not going to win this. So I just unlocked the door. I let her in, and she was like, "Give me all your electronics. Give me all your shit." And I was like, okay. So I went into my closet to grab all the electronics, and bro, I turn around, and she's just choking the shit out of me. And I just like, my dad comes into the room, he takes her off of me, and he's like, I just start screaming. I'm like, yo, this woman's trying to kill me. This woman's trying to kill me. She's trying to kill me. She left the house after all my sister started crying. Everybody was upset, of course. And then she left the house. My mom didn't come back that night until like super late. And then she didn't talk to me or my siblings for like a week after that. And then my dad was like, "Oh, I know what'll fix this. You guys should apologize to her, and she might talk to you again." It's like, okay,
Why
so
is
we
that
have to
always the
apologize
way?
for her choking to me? No, literally. And I was like, we didn't do anything wrong. Like, she literally put her hands on me, and you want me to apologize for that? Like, what the fuck? So me and my siblings wrote an apology letter. So we left that on her bed. Next day, she talked to us like nothing ever happened.
Oh
And
my
then
God.
the year after, her mom died. So I don't want to say karma, but and then she went crazy.
That's not funny. I mean, like, hey, you're not wrong. Like, that is wild, though. First of all, I'm so sorry you had to go through that. That's
It's okay.
Traumatic for anybody. Like, if you're gonna have a kid, what's the point? If that's how you're gonna act,
right?
Jesus, dude, I'm sorry. Now,
it's okay.
You were gaslit into writing an apology letter, which I feel like that's like the standard for children nowadays, where it's like, oh, you do something wrong, apologize to me. Like, or I do something wrong, apologize to me. Like, parents are incapable of fucking up and making mistakes. Although choking your child is not a mistake. That's
no, literally.
Jesus Christ. But your dad came in and tried to like get her off of you?
Yeah, so he took her off of me.
Jeez. But was your dad abusive in any way? Or was he just like...
No. Well, good. Not to me. As a kid, I know that like he used to discipline my older brother and I think my older sister with like a belt, but I was very little. My brother's 11 years older than me, so I don't really remember that time that much. But I think they used to like hit them with like a belt if they did something wrong, but then it never happened to my middle sister or me. So
maybe by then they learned that that's no longer how we parent children anymore.
I think so.
Because, like, I don't know, like, even, like, my parents have stories, and their parents have stories of, like, how their parents used to beat them and shit. And, like, it doesn't mean that that's how, like, parenting works now. Like, I get it. It was a thing back then, and, like, you had to go through that, and I'm so sorry that you did, but that does not, like, times change. It does not mean you have to treat me like that. Like, God, that's awful. And you said that you apologized, and then she acted like nothing ever happened?
Yeah. She's still, to this day, never apologized for it. And I don't know if I ever will get one out of her.
Why is that also a thing? Like, moms will just, like, go to sleep and then pretend like they didn't just fucking rip your whole life apart. Like... Why is that a thing? Oh, I hate that. God, I don't know. I feel like this day and age, our generation is very up to date about like what toxic is and how to have a healthy relationship with people and what communication is. And that generation, our parents are so like, sorry mom if you're watching this, but like it's true. Like their generation is so like, keep to yourself, keep your emotions to yourself. If somebody pisses you off, act on it and then act like it never happened. Like, it's like communication is not a thing. Other people's emotions don't matter. Like, it's a very every man for himself type of mentality, I feel like. I don't know. And it sucks seeing like that get passed on to other generations. You know what I mean? Because at the end of the day, it sucks to hear that like, oh, we all turn into our parents. Like, I love you, mom. I love you, dad. But I don't want to be you. I want to be my own person. You know what I mean? I feel like our generation, all in all, is like changing that sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see like our generation, like as parents. Like, I hope it's a lot better.
I think it will be. Like, I try and think of our generation's parents and it's like, okay, how transphobic are they going to be? And I don't know if I'm naive, but I think it's going to be a little bit better than what we grew up with. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We're just more woke, I guess. I wanted to, since you've been through it and you get it and you had to deal with it, I want to ask you if you had any tips for people, for trans people in general, who grew up with religious families or just unsupportive families in general. Because, I mean, you had to go through it. You did it all on your own. I'm sure you know what to do.
Yeah, so I would definitely say to try and find like a friend or somebody that you can rely on who's not like within your family to just talk to and have like as a person that you can always go to, whether it's with trans stuff or to not trans stuff, to just have that like little backbone there for you. So that way you're not going through everything completely alone, because it sucks to go through everything completely alone. It really does.
Yeah.
So I would just either try to find someone who's a little bit supportive and just try and stick with them and then talk to them. Otherwise, if you can't do that, isolating yourself from your family is good too. That's kind of what I did. My dad was never really around a ton because he was always at work. So my mom was kind of the one who was around more often. And then my siblings were usually busy off doing things. But I would just try to like be in my room, be in my own space and do my own stuff. Like I wouldn't really hang out with them that much because it just upset me and I just didn't enjoy it. So I would try and be on my own and do my own things. And it was lonely as well too, but it was better than dealing with people who don't care about you and don't accept you for who you are.
Mm-hmm. I would definitely agree that being alone sucks, but being around people who are nasty to you is a hell of a lot worse.
Yeah.
I think when we first started talking, I said to you, I was like, you very much strike me as somebody who doesn't believe that family is all like everything you need in life. Because there's people that are very family oriented who are like, family is everything. And like, while I love my family, if they didn't support me, if they refused to call me by my name and my pronouns and were nasty to me, bye-bye.
Yeah.
Bye-bye. Like, blood doesn't mean, in my opinion, blood doesn't mean shit if it doesn't come with love and respect. You know what I mean?
Exactly. I agree 100%.
Because then you think about it and you're like, well, I've met so many people, a lot of friends along the way who love and support me, and we're not blood related, and I would call them family way faster than I would call my own family family. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know. Blood ain't shit. And I think that kind of falls into the third topic of how important is family when coming out / transitioning. And I feel like we've already answered the fact that both of us think that not that important.
Mm-hmm. It really isn't. I mean, like, I am 100%, I believe in your chosen family. And if your family happens to fall within your chosen family, that's awesome. But that's also not the reality for a lot of other people, too. There's a lot of other people who have very religious families who don't accept their kids or accept them for being trans or gay or bi or anything along that spectrum. So I think chosen family is definitely going to be the best. Like, you can have, like, I have a bunch of friends who love me and support me. And like you said, I'd choose them as my family any day over my so-called
Right.
family who doesn't support me. So
Mm-hmm. That was a really, really, really cool way of putting it. I don't think I've ever heard that before. You said, choose your family, and if your like blood family ends up also being your chosen family, then that's great. That was really cool. I like that. I think that also I think you said, reaching out to friends, and I think finding other trans people is definitely a really important step in anyone's transition. Did you have other trans people in your life during this or no?
I did not. So I made one trans friend, like, I want to say like 7 months ago or so. That's it. You're literally my only trans friend I have. So I have no trans friends.
Dude, I get it. Up until starting this podcast, which was 6 months ago now, I did not know a single trans person for 8 years. I was trans. Not a single one. Never spoke to another one. Never got any advice. It was very lonely. And I've talked about it in prior episodes, but like, I don't think I understood the weight of not having any trans people in life, because you could talk to cis people, trans or cis friends as much as you can, but all you're gonna get from that, really, and no offense to any of my cis friends, I love you all, but all you really can get from that is empathy and sympathy, maybe.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
you can't get the relatability. You know what I mean? You can't get that feeling that you're craving to feel less alone, and you're not going to find that. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly.
I think one of the biggest tips I personally would give is finding like trans people on the internet. Like, obviously be careful when doing so, but like, reaching out to trans people, because typically trans people want to help you if you're trans too. You know what I mean? Like if you reach out and you're like, yo, you're really cool. I need help. Can you give me some advice? I don't think there's a single trans person out there that would say no to you.
Yeah.
So I would
Unless they're an
definitely say
asshole,
that.
but
True. I mean, hey,
there are a couple of them.
There are quite a few. There are quite a few. But
most of them are usually very willing to help, and they understand the struggle. But yeah, I agree with you. It is obviously a lot nicer to have friends who actually understand what you're truly going through, because having cis people is great, but they don't really understand. Right. So it's hard.
Right. And I think also, you said while you were going through this, you were working, right? When you were living by yourself and stuff, you were working, and I'm sure you put in hours at work to save up money.
I did, yeah.
And can I ask, did you pay for your top surgery and your surgery yourself just from working?
No. So originally I was going to. So I saved up money when I was previously living at my parents' house. I had some money. I had a couple thousand, but I didn't have enough for top surgery. Then when I moved to my friend's house, I had more money saved up, and I continued to get money as I was working. And so I was going to pay out of pocket for my top surgery. But then I was like, you know what? I'm going to see, just maybe, if my insurance company will accept me. So I reached out to my insurance company, like through a little like online chatbot thing, and I was like, hey, do you guys take gender affirming care? And they were like, yes, we do top surgery. I was like, fuck yeah. So I had like all this money saved up that I didn't even have to spend on top surgery.
Wow.
And I was just able to get it that way.
Wow. Thankfully. Good for you. That's not something I feel like now it happens more often than you think, but I think I also was so, when I was trying to find a surgeon and everything, I didn't even understand what insurance was and how it could pay for things. And I did not get it in the slightest. So I fully was just like, okay, found a surgeon that'll give me keyhole. His results look good. I'm going with him. And he was like, okay, hand me $11,000. And I was like, okay, I have to go work for a little bit to make that money up. So that's what I did. Yeah, I didn't even understand that was like a thing. Thank you. It was probably the hardest and the longest I've worked in all of my life. Mm-hmm. But I did it, and I had that mentality of like, ain't nobody else gonna do this for you. Like work. And then after that, I will say after that, I have never like my work ethic sucks since then, because I felt like I had nothing else to work for after I got my top surgery. Like I would get up for work every day and be like, I'm doing this for me. I'm motivated. I can do it. And then I got my top surgery and I was like, well, I have nothing else to work for. But yeah, so that's really cool that your insurance paid for your top surgery. What about your testosterone?
Nah, they don't pay for that. So my insurance company sucks. I mean, luckily they paid for top surgery, and I have to pay out of pocket for testosterone because it's not really that expensive. Usually what I do is I just use GoodRx coupons, and it makes tea like $10. That's what I'd recommend. If anyone is struggling for the cost of tea, get GoodRx. I don't even have GoodRx. I literally just look up like GoodRx testosterone coupons, and a bunch will pop up. You just show that to the pharmacist. They pop in some codes, and then you're good. And it makes shit way less expensive. Like instead of being like $50 for me, it's like 10.
What? I have never heard of that in my life, bro. I was paying $100 out of pocket when I used to go to my endocrinologist. I was paying $100 every time.
No. Yeah, bro. Use GoodRx.
That is wild. I use Fox Health now, which is, I think they just changed their thing to like $30 a month or something, which is dope. How do you get your testosterone? Do you go to an endocrinologist?
No, I have Planned Parenthood, but I'm trying to switch out of that just because of everything that's been going on. I'm afraid that I won't have access to it. So I scheduled an appointment to have like with an actual doctor to see if they can just put me on that shit.
Nice.
But I was gonna try Folks, but they're not available in my state. So
I think, when's the last time you checked? Was it a while ago?
No, it was probably a month or two ago.
I think
it has something.
Go ahead.
What were you going to say?
I think they're trying to get all 50 states. I think they're only like 1 or 2 states away from being available in every state now. I saw it on
So they're
Instagram like
available
yesterday.
in my state, but it's like estrogen only.
Really? That's interesting.
Yeah, so as I was looking, so there's like a handful of states that they have either both, or they have one, or they have the other, and there's some states that they don't have both in, which is just mine. So I live in New Hampshire. I plan on moving down to Mass when my lease is up, so in April anyway. But they have folks in Mass, so I'll be fine whenever I go there next year. But
Gotcha. Have you ever looked into Plume? Because I know that's another one. Are they available for you?
I did look into Plume. They're also not available here.
Well, it's transphobic.
Maybe if they are, it's also estrogen only or something like that.
Well, damn, what do you got against trans guys? The fuck? Now, we talked a lot about, your past and how you came out and everything. I want to know how you're doing now with everything. So you moved out, obviously, of your friend's house, and you live, where do you live now?
I live in New Hampshire now, so I lived alone for a little while, but then I started dating my current girlfriend, and she decided to move in with me, so now we live here together.
Oh my god. How long have you guys been together?
We've been together a year.
Oh my god. I love it. Now, was she like your first girlfriend, like as a trans guy? Or no?
No.
Got you.
She was not.
Has dating been like a thing for you, like a thing that you struggled with being trans, or is that one of the things that made life easier for you as a trans guy?
I'd definitely say I struggled with it, just because it's, at least for me, it was harder to find people who would be accepting of like being trans, so it was definitely harder for me to find people who would want to be with me.
That's the struggle for us. Isn't it fun?
Yeah.
That's really cool though. You guys have been together for a year. Obviously you're happy and you guys have an apartment together.
Yeah.
That's dope. Good for you guys. You got top surgery, you said. Now, do you struggle or have you struggled with dysphoria?
Yeah, I still have dysphoria since then, but it's not like nearly as bad as it used to be at all.
So your dysphoria came mostly from pre-surgery, top surgery?
Yeah, pre-top surgery and like pre-hormones for me.
Do you, I kind of relate to that for sure. Do you struggle with social anxiety, or is that a place you do well in? Social anxiety or social dysphoria? I definitely struggle with
social anxiety just because I am like, I'm really shy. And so like just being trans on top of that is just like, I don't know how I should act because I didn't grow up like having that like typical cis guy, like boyhood, I guess. I don't know if that's even the right word, but like I just didn't grow up that way. Brotherhood. Yeah. So
brotherhood.
Harder, like as an adult, like trying to find your way through that.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of trans guys struggle with social anxiety just because of the social dysphoria aspect of it. I do feel like that's the only place left in my transition where I'm still like, fucking, what do I do?
Me too.
And it's wild because now I have a podcast and like now I have to like talk and like act like I know what the fuck is going on. It's all an act. It's all an act.
You're doing well though. So.
Thank you. I appreciate the validation.
You're fooling us. It's okay.
It's all I do is just fool people all day, every day. My last topic of the day that I wanted to get into before we go is, we talked about it a little bit, but trans people in the workplace, because that's something I have yet to talk about, which I think is really important. How long have you been working? You have a job right now, right?
Yeah.
Are you comfortable saying what you do right now?
Yeah, so I sell beds. I've been in sales for quite a while. Before I was selling beds, I was selling beanbag furniture, which is actually the piece of bedding that I slept on. So I was selling beanbags.
It all comes full circle. I love it.
But yeah, so I was not out, but I was like actually like myself in both of those workplaces, and I believe those were the first two that I was really able to be like myself, like
Mm-hmm.
be myself. But before then, it was just like dead name and all that other stupid shit.
Got you. And the job that you have now, are you stealth there, you said?
For the most part, yeah. So there is 3 people there who know that I'm trans, but that's it.
Got you. And were you working the same job when you got this job when you got top surgery?
Yeah, so I was working this job when I had top surgery.
And because for me, I know that when I was working at a liquor store, nobody there knew I was trans. I was fully stealth except for one person who was my friend, and I had to leave to get top surgery, and I was going to be out for about a month or two. And I got a lot of questions as to why I was leaving. Did you have to do the same thing?
Yeah, I did.
And how did that go?
It was kind of awkward, honestly. At the time, I want to say there was like 40 or so, maybe 40 or 50 people in my district at the time. So, like at meetings and stuff, like people would have, oh, what are you leaving for? Why are you gone? What's going on? Are you okay? And I'd be like, yeah, I just have some personal stuff going on.
People are so damn curious, bro.
Yeah.
Like, I remember, because my work, there was only like 6 of us, 5 of us maybe, and we were all very close. And like, I was like, yeah, I had to like tell them that I was getting surgery because I was going to be out for a while, and like I needed to come back to work. I needed a job, so
yeah,
I needed to tell them I was getting surgery, but I wouldn't tell them what surgery I was getting. So I have the hiccups. And there was this guy who was maybe a couple years older than me, and he wanted to know so fucking bad what surgery I was getting. And he did the thing where he was like, what surgery are you getting? What surgery are you getting? And I was like, it's none of your business. It's just a minor surgery. I'll be fine. Don't worry about it. And he did the thing where he motioned to his chest, and he was like, and I was like,
no.
I don't even know. And then he motions to like his genitals, and I was like, no, like
I hate
leave it
that.
alone. Stop asking me weird fucking questions. Because I guess
That
when you
is
don't tell
fucking weird.
and when you don't tell people what surgery you're getting, they automatically assume it has to do with your private parts. So there's really no hiding it, I guess.
Yeah.
It's just like, I don't know. I think there's a specific way to going about being stealth in the workplace, especially if you were surrounded by transphobic people.
Yeah.
Was there anybody at your workplace that you knew was like hella transphobic?
So I didn't know that they were. So at the time, I wasn't out to like anyone, minus my best friend who picked me up from surgery. I actually got him a job like at the place that I work at, so he knew. But I obviously knew. We've been friends since we were like fucking in first grade, so I knew that he wasn't gonna tell anybody or say shit.
Right.
But it was weird. So I left, got surgery, came back. A few months later, I was like, it was my day off, and I randomly get a call from one of the guys that worked at one of the locations that I worked at. He's like, hey man, the manager's saying some pretty shitty things about you. I figured I'd call you and let you know. I was like, what's up? And he was like, yeah, he was saying that a few months ago you had an add a dick to me surgery, and that being transgender is wrong, and all of these terrible things. And I was like, wow, that's fucking terrible. Thank you for letting me know. And like, it was a fight, like a huge fight apparently between the two. And the manager was trying to write up my coworker, and it like went to HR, and he was like, do with this information what you will, but like, and I was like, damn bro, like I didn't want him to get in trouble for standing up for me. Like that's not how that's supposed to go. So I was like, yeah, I'm gonna fucking out myself because I don't want this guy to get in trouble. So I told my district manager, I was like, hey, this is going on. I want to let you know why this happened. And my DM was like, oh, that's bad. Like, we'll look into it, basically. And so I was like, I'm not comfortable working there. I'm not going to that location ever again. Like, I'm just not going there. He's like, that's fine. So I end up going to my other location, and I ended up staying there. But my coworker, he ended up getting written up for it, and I'm pretty sure nothing ever ended up happening to the actual manager. And then my coworker left because he was like, I'm not gonna fucking stay with a company that just writes you up for standing up for someone else. Bro, power to you.
Usually how it ends up, the person doing the right thing gets in trouble.
Yep.
That's fucked up. Sorry I had to go through that. I feel like, I don't know, at least you had the guts to say something, to go to somebody and be like, hey, this is happening. This is not right. I feel not safe at the workplace. Because trans people all over the world don't say anything because they don't feel safe. Obviously, I don't blame them. And I did want to talk about, what to do if you're in an unsafe work environment. Although, now that this just popped into my head, I think, do you know Starbucks? I think Starbucks, I go to Starbucks every day. I love Starbucks. They're very, very like trans accepting at Starbucks. I think every trans person should go work at Starbucks, and we should all like hang out and like, because I think they pay for your hormones. They pay for your top surgery, all surgeries that you get in the future. Starbucks is where it's at for trans people. If you don't know that, now you do, and you should go work at Starbucks if you need money. But if you're stuck at a work environment that is transphobic and you don't know what to do, our advice would be, I guess, obviously, if there is somebody higher up who can help you, like you did, say something, do something. Otherwise, you don't know what could happen in the future. Because people are dangerous. Typically, people who are transphobic also tend to be dangerous too, which I don't think is talked about enough.
Yeah.
I don't know, because even like misgendering in general can end up being dangerous in the workplace. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I hate when I see TikTok videos of trans people working, and a customer will misgender them on accident, and you can visibly see the trans person getting upset, but they don't do anything. They're usually just like visibly sad and don't say anything about it. And these cis people on TikTok be making fun of them, be like, it's really not a big deal. Like, you're getting visibly upset. And it's like, but it is a big deal, and you have no idea why. I don't know. That always pisses me off.
It does piss me off. I see those videos all the time too.
And then like you have like the one trans person who does freak out and is like, those are not my pronouns, like, be nicer to me. And then that video goes viral and it's like, trans people are snowflakes. And it's like, oh, Jesus Christ.
We can't
but
win.
No, not at all. And it's insanely frustrating. Because I was in a workplace where I was stealth. The people I was around weren't necessarily transphobic, I guess. Their culture just wasn't, they were ignorant to it. They didn't understand it. It made them uncomfortable, and I didn't want to talk about it. And that's why I never told them, really. But I never felt unsafe there. If I did feel unsafe, I think obviously I would quit. But if I needed the money, I would do everything I can to like go on Indeed and apply to every fucking job I could.
I agree.
Until somebody took me in, and then I'd quit. So definitely like find a job. If you need the money, find another job before you quit, and then give your 2 weeks notice for sure. And honestly, and if you're ever in a violent situation, just run away, because it's not fucking worth it. These people in any job, for anybody, if you're working for somebody, if you died, they would replace you in 2 weeks. and you're breaking your back for these people who don't give a shit about you. Like,
yeah, you really are. I agree. I would definitely make a backup plan, get out of there. I wouldn't leave like immediately unless you can afford that, but
right.
I would definitely just like you said, like go to Indeed, go to snag a job, go somewhere else, try and find a better job, line up an interview. Once you get that job scored, then give your 2 weeks and leave.
Mm-hmm.
Because it's not worth it to work with those kinds of people. Like I'm kind of like in the process of doing that too. I'm got a couple personal things that I'm going through, and I'm right after that I'm gonna end up leaving my job because even though I'm at a different location, it still doesn't sit right with me that a coworker of mine got fired for standing up for me, and that they allow this transphobic piece of shit to still work here.
Right.
So,
yeah. That's like
I'm leaving too.
As you should, because like in the grand scheme of things, like when we're what? Wait, dude, how old are you?
21.
Nice. I didn't even ask. I'm a bad podcast host, I guess.
No.
I was gonna say when we're like fucking 50 years old or some shit, or on our deathbeds, you think that we're really gonna care so much that we work for these dumbass fucking people? Like, it's a job. Like, it's not that deep. Like, yes, you need the money, but like you can get that money from literally so many other places in the world. Like,
yeah.
Don't stay at the one place. It's going to be horrible to you. You know what I mean? I get if you need the money, but like find something else. It's not worth it.
Yeah.
We are an hour and 40 minutes in now. So I feel like that's probably a good place to stop. Luke, I really appreciate you coming on and telling your story because not a lot. That's not something, everything we talked about today, religion and being trans in the workplace and families in general, is not something I've touched upon a lot on this podcast. And if I did, it wasn't that much in depth, and I've never talked to a trans person who has struggled so much in that sense. So I really appreciate you coming on and telling your story and letting people know that other people go through it and that you don't have to be alone. So thank you for coming on.
Yeah, thank you for allowing me to come on, sharing my story, and helping other people.
Of course, my pleasure. I definitely would love to have you on again if you'd like to. I'm sorry that it was cutting out a little bit this whole time. It was definitely annoying, but we got through it.
Absolutely, bro.
Now, do you have any socials you would like to plug so people can follow you?
Yeah, if you want to follow me on Instagram, my Instagram is l.ukexx, and my Snapchat is lukey.yyx.
Hell yeah, plug that Snapchat. I love it. And if y'all want to follow me, you can find me on TikTok and Instagram at HRT Podcast. I put out videos every day on there and on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, anywhere you get your podcast. I drop videos every Tuesday, Testosterone Tuesdays. Turn on post notifications for me, bro. Turn them on so you know when I post. And also, if you're on Spotify, if you're on Apple Podcasts, come on over to YouTube because you'll be able to see me and then we could talk face to face and have a connection. Also, subscribe to me on Patreon. I'm dropping a new video today where I talk about fucking all the things. I'm not going to give too much away because I want you to subscribe. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Oh, I screamed that. Sorry.
No.
I want to start this thing every week in every episode where I find trans musicians and trans songs that are about being trans, because I always wanted to be able to relate to music about being trans, and I never got that because there's a lot of trans artists, but they're so hard to find, bro. Like, incredibly hard to find. I know there's No Offense who's popping off recently, and he's dope. But I spent like a half hour on Reddit yesterday being like, where can I find trans artists that actually have good music and sing about being trans? And I do have one this week, but it's the band they're called Bad Sons. I'll show a picture of them right here. They're not trans, but they have a song called Salt that is literally about gender identity, and the music video for it was really moving and really inspiring. So I suggest if you are looking for music that you want to connect with, if you're trans, definitely look up the song Salt by Bad Sons, because I thought it was really cool. And I definitely want to make that a thing every week now, where I find a song or a band that has to do with being trans so I could show y'all and we can listen and have fun together. But yeah, check out Salt by Bad Sons because I liked the song and it was good. Anyways.
Pretty good.
Yeah, Luke liked it. He listened to it. Be like us. Listen to our music. All right, bro. Thank you so much for coming on. I really appreciate you. And Luke will definitely be on again because this was awesome. And yeah, thank you so much, Luke. Say bye.
Yeah, thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Peace out.
Peace out, Girl Scout. Peace. Bye.